I'm getting you some news coming in. A grand gesture by the Prime Minister on the way to Gandhinagar from Ahmedabad. Prime Minister, entire, the carcade, it stopped to give way to an ambulance. Those are the visuals on your screen right now. His entire entourage, which was on its way, it stopped. They made sure that they make way for ambulance. And of course, the messaging here is very, very crucial. We have seen often in the VVIP movements that essential services like ambulances, fire services are affected. Siddhant Mishra with us on the broadcast. Siddhant, tell us more about what happened.
Yes, so this video is getting viral, and in fact, this happened when Prime Minister was going to Gandhinagar metro station, where the siren of ambulance was heard by Prime Minister's staff in the convoy, and immediately it was a decision taken to stop the convoy and give pass to this ambulance. Now, this is not the first time that Prime Minister has shown this gesture. In the past, also we have seen on multiple occasions he has shown such gestures by giving pass to ambulances, and also in fact during security protocols of the Prime Minister, he takes care of he takes care of people above anybody else. So in fact, there are videos, there are footages of him him giving it back to his security staff for not behaving properly, or if he sees that the other person, if a common man is suffering because of the security protocols, he immediately takes cognizance of that. So that is Prime Minister's gesture, and this is how, and he is a leader who leads by example. And today also, once again, when he was going to Gandhinagar railway station, at that time, his convoy his security details heard the siren of ambulance, and it was his decision to immediately stop the convoy and give pass to this ambulance, and that can easily be seen in that video. Now, this video is getting viral, and also this video is important for other politicians across the country, because till now we have been doing stories on how politicians are ignorant, how politicians are high on power. When their convoy pass by, then ambulances are stopped, ambulances are not allowed to move, and so this is a lesson for them, and everyone should behave in this manner, and there should be a gesture which should be followed by everyone by giving pass to the ambulance. So Prime Minister has again led by the example by giving this gesture today. Back to you.
Well, Siddhant, I want to take this moment to talk about the VVIP culture that you were speaking of. And in our country, unfortunately, in the name of security, sometimes in the name of stature, you're right in pointing out that power often makes people not so humble. And humility, especially in actions, not just in your words, in your conduct or in the public display, in your real actions is missing from our political class. The Prime Minister has often spoken about, how the Lal Batti culture from our society needs to go away. And this is one such example.
Yes, it was Prime Minister who got the society rid of the Lal Batti culture. Prime Minister has always been against any kind of VVIP racism, and in fact, in Latian's Delhi zone also, none of the central ministers get the protocol, the usual security protocol. So that has been the standard which has been set by the Prime Minister, because he himself believes in those standards. Also, in fact, when you see Prime Minister on multiple occasions, if somebody even bends down to touch his feet, he never allows that person. He himself bends down. And this is what makes this person a great human being, and this is why, and this is the reason that everyone follows him and everyone look up to him, because with great power comes greater responsibility. And Prime Minister, and nobody understands it better than Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So he is always, always conducts himself in such a manner that that can leave example behind.
And that's the examples we need today more often in our society. Shehzad Poonawalla, the national spokesperson of the BJP, is joining us on the broadcast. Good afternoon, Shehzad. Thank you so much for speaking to us. A good example that Prime Minister has set, not just through his words, but by real action.
You see, ever since the Prime Minister has become the Prime Minister, he has considered this position as a position of a Pradhan Sevak, not as a Pradhan Mantri. And therefore, he has made sure that the trappings of VVIP culture are completely done away with, whether it is getting rid of the Lal Batti, whether it is getting rid of the various VVIP trappings that politicians have, or whether it is his convoy, even though it has many security angles to it, making way for an ambulance because he knows that it should not be the common man who should be made to inconvenience because of politicians. And therefore, he is not a Pradhan Mantri, he is a Pradhan Sevak. And this action just reiterates his mindset that he is the Pradhan Sevak of 140 crore Indians.
Mm-hmm. I also, was discussing with my colleague how this entire Lal Batti culture or this VVIP culture from our country is something that needs to be spoken against. And that's something that the Prime Minister has also spoken earlier. In fact, in the Latins area, a lot of protocols have been done away with, which were unnecessary from the point of view of security. And perhaps examples like these can pave way for greater change in the way and manner our political class and the powerful really behaves.
Earlier, the mindset was that people looked at the government as sarkar. Today, people look at the government as a sevadar or a sevak or a service provider who provides a service to the people of the country. So this transition from sarkar and parivar to sevak and somebody who will always be at the service of the people, this is the approach that has changed under Prime Minister Modi. It is the people's Prime Minister, not a parivar's Prime Minister. And therefore, this is reflected not just in his words, but even in his actions, whether it is doing away with the Lal Batti, whether it is making changes in the laws so that the people are not inconvenienced, or to make sure that the trappings of political positions do not affect the common man.
Shehzad, are you somewhere ready that your political opponents are going to call this yet another publicity gimmick or a publicity stunt?
You see, for them, the unfortunate problem is that those who have named 400 schemes after one family and could only pay obeisance to one family and did not even give Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose or Sardar Patel their due, well, they can only look at this as publicity stunt because the kind of mindset they have, they look at everything from the prism of photo ops and publicity stunts. Their only politics has been about this. So they will obviously view it from the prism that they come from. But people in India know that this is a Janta ka Sevak, not somebody who considers himself to be a Malik.
Thank you, Shehzad, for joining us on the broadcast and sharing your views with us on this story. But that's the video which has gone viral on social media. My colleague Siddhant continues to be with us on the show. Siddhant, let's try and take this moment and talk about the VVIP culture that exists in our country. We have seen multiple occasions and instances, unfortunately, where due to a VVIP protocol, the ambulance is stuck, a person cannot reach hospital on time, and unfortunately, he or she ends up losing their life or, are not able to get the treatment on time. In a country like India, where this entire culture of a Lal Batti or powerful people really drunk on power, not accountable, humility becoming a very rare virtue, this indeed is a very, very important gesture which has come out in the public domain. We'll continue talking about this and much more, slipping into a very short break. But here's a reminder, for the #1 news streaming channel, log on to youtube.com/CNN News 18 and stay up to date with the latest news and updates from around the world. Stay